Shares of Dexcom tanking 40%, their biggest one-day decline on record. This comes after the diabetes management company reported disappointing revenue for the second quarter and offered weak guidance. Joining us now is Wolfe research analyst Mike Polark. He has an outperform rating on the stock. Mike, I'm just going to go right into it here because it came up on the call and it's raised some questions. And that is when you have a company saying that they are short a large number of new patients that they anticipated here for their glucose monitoring for those products around diabetes. Is this the impact of GLP-1s or is it something else?
Thanks for having me. In bridging their guidance reduction, missing on users was a piece of it. I figure it's about 30% of the overall revenue guidance reduction. Mix, revenue per, let's call it pricing, was likely the remainder. I don't think it's GLP-1s, and I understand the question. Here's why. We are seeing evidence that patients with type 2 diabetes that do not yet use insulin therapy, so these are folks that could be using GLP-1s, CGM product starts for that patient category accelerated quarter over quarter. So that would be a suggestion that GLP-1s are not disrupting the category. The other bit of evidence we have here, Dexcom and their competitor Abbott have, over the last couple quarters, presented data around patients on GLP-1s and their use rates of CGMs. And what we find in type 2 thus far, patients with type 2 diabetes, the folks that are using GLP-1s are actually using CGM more often, more frequently, more consistently than patients with type 2 that are using oral medications but not yet GLP-1. So I don't think it's GLP-1s. I do think it's more so channel mix and pricing, and that to me is the greater frustration today.
Okay. So you have a buy rating on the stock. Do you buy given the drastic pullback we saw here today? And perhaps just as importantly, how much is this a harbinger for more results we get from medical device makers and healthcare companies that are yet to come?
So I will say there was some comforting news from another diabetes technology company this morning, Insulet, ticker POD. They pre-announced positive results. So that made me personally feel better that we're not going to have some contagion through to the rest of the group, the rest of reporting season. As it relates to Dexcom, the stock today, a lot of damage has been done. So, my estimates, my peers' estimates have been reset dramatically. So the expectation, the bar is now quite a bit lower. And on that lower bar at $60 or so per share, I'm seeing a multiple 30 times earnings, low 20s times EBITDA. These are multiples that align with a company we really like, a stock we really like, Boston Scientific. So we are fans of Boston Scientific. I see Dexcom here trading at Boston Scientific's multiple on newly lowered numbers. And so I think that peer comparison helps provide a floor here for the multiple. And I think this reset to numbers has been pretty severe. Okay. And it'll take time to recover, but I suspect the bar is unlikely to get walked further down. So you look, a lot of pain today, a frustrating day for the company, for shareholders, for analysts. But I think this is an opportunity to, add to positions.